Hi mini yogis, it's Joanna here from Explore Me a Story. Here's Yoga Bear 2. Hi everyone. And today for Yoga Story Time, I'm going to share a story with you about my friend Oliver. And this story is called Super-Oli and Supersaurus Save the Day. So here we go. Oliver woke up from a wonderful dream to a brand new day. And he thought to himself, let me start the day with all the wonderful things that I know how to make me feel good. So he jumped out of bed and he reminded himself that he needed to power up all his superpowers. So he started with rubbing his hands together and taking some really giant deep breaths. And he sang his deep breath song because he knew that the deep breaths would give him extra superpowers for the day ahead. Rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. Second time. Rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. Rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. The second thing that Ollie liked to do when he got up in the morning to give himself his extra superpowers was to give himself a giant hug and say to himself, "Good morning, Oliver, I love you." And that worked a treat. The third thing he liked to do was think about something that he was thankful for that day. So Oliver's gratitude for that morning was that he'd had a lovely sleep, and he wanted to say thank you to his soft pillows that he lay his head on at night time. And the last thing that he wanted to do, something that he did every morning, was to send a beautiful wish and lots of love to the world. So he'd take a big deep breath, blow a kiss to everyone. And today he wanted to wish everyone to feel safe and to feel lots of peace. So now that Oliver was powered up for the day, he went to say good morning to his best buddy, Supersaurus the dinosaur. So off he went to find Supersaurus, and Supersaurus was sat by the window, and he said, "Hi Supersaurus, good morning. Let's have a great big hug." He had to stretch his arms super wide to give Supersaurus a hug because Supersaurus was a really big guy. All right, so then Oliver decided to pull the curtains across really wide to welcome in the new day. But he and Supersaurus were so surprised because it was still dark outside. Oliver couldn't believe his eyes, and Supersaurus could not believe his eyes either. Oliver said to himself, "Is it still nighttime?" He could not believe why it was so dark. Now, he decided that he would do a greeting to the sun to try and persuade the sun to come out. So you can sing along with me and move along with me as we do a little sun salutation. I think I'm going to have to turn my camera this way around so you can see me. Here we go. Reach up high, dive down low, walk your feet back nice and slow. Do downward dog, shake a leg, shake your other leg, and then we lower down into plank. And bring our chest to the ground, then into upward dog, back to downward dog, jump forward like a frog, reach your hands up high, back to the start, place them on your heart, and then Oliver and Supersaurus went back to the window to see if it was light and if the sun had come out to visit us. And it was still dark, and Oliver could not figure out why. The next thing he tried was to see if it was still nighttime. So he decided to get into his half-moon yoga pose and check out if it was still nighttime. So you can do this along with me. We're going to step 1 foot forward and our other foot back. Then we're going to reach down to the floor with our hand, and then we're going to step our other leg up into the sky. And Oliver looked up and he could not see the moon. And he tried on the other side. So you reach one arm down, the same as your front leg. Reach up the back leg, arm up in the sky. No moon to be seen. So Oliver came back to the window and he was running out of ideas. So he decided to take a look in his favourite spot to see if he could come up with some ideas, if there were some ideas. And do you know where he usually found his ideas? Under the bed. So we're going to come back to the wall, heels to the wall, hands to the floor. We're going to walk our feet up the wall and we're going to take a look under the bed to see if we can think of any ideas. Give my head a little shake. Come on, ideas. What can I do to make the light and the sun come up? So we jumped down. Oliver came back to the window. He took a deep breath. And he had an idea. He thought that if he came into wolf pose, his wolf yoga pose, let me see if I can put my hands, there we go, you can see my hands. Here I am in wolf pose and I'm going to howl up to the moon and ask them, why is it still dark? Oh, oh, oh! Howl in wolf pose. Oh, oh, oh! Well, Oliver came back to the window again. No sun. The moon didn't have an answer for him. He was completely flummoxed. He could not think why it was still dark. And it was starting to worry him. And Supersaurus wasn't any help today. So he had another idea. So going upside down gave him his good ideas. He decided that he would become a snake, a cobra, and he was going to hiss at the dark outside and see if that would help. So he came down onto his tummy, onto his belly, brought his hands back beside his ribs and reached himself up. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Down he came again. He thought he'd give it another try. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Then he came back to the window. Was it light yet? No! Oh my goodness me. He searched in his mind and he came up with another idea. What if I become a yoga rainbow? That might help the sun to come out. So Oliver got into his rainbow pose. He came onto the side of his body, reached his arm up in the sky, and came into his yoga rainbow. And then he came back to the window to see if the sun had come out. But still no luck. Goodness me, Oliver was running out of ideas. He decided that he had one more idea and he'd give it a try. So he thought maybe he could blast the sun into coming out. So he decided to become a yoga volcano. So he reached up high with his arms and he rolled down, exploding his volcano, breathing in and out, rolling his arms, exploding his volcano, really, really fast as he could. And then he rushed back to the window to see if it was light. And goodness me, nothing. Well, he decided to ask Supersaurus, what could we do? What could we do? Now, the only idea Supersaurus had was to climb the tree outside. So they ran downstairs out into the yard and they decided to climb the tree to see if they could see over the top of the dark sky. So they came into their yoga tree pose and they climbed their big strong tree. So they took a deep breath and a nice pause, and then they climbed their tree. So there they were in tree pose. They reached up high to see if they could take a peek over the top of the dark sky. But no, they couldn't. It was just dark everywhere. Well, Oliver was starting to feel a little bit upset and a little bit disappointed. He didn't want it to be dark all day, and he knew it wasn't nighttime anymore. So he sat and he thought, and he said, maybe if I think hard enough, I can bring the light back to the sky, and I can help myself to feel better. If I start to bring the sunshine back into me, maybe I can bring the sunshine back to the sky. So Oliver rang his singing bowl and he sent out a really big wish to bring back the light. And he waited and he waited and he listened. And he started to feel a little better. He started to feel a little happier. And he opened his eyes. And he started to see a tiny crack of light outside. And then a thought came to him. He wondered if he did some really big, deep breaths, just like his buddy Supersaurus does, then that might blow away the darkness outside and let the sun shine through and bring the light. So he and Supersaurus took a giant deep breath and they roared out their breath. And then they took another giant deep breath and they roared out their breath. And then together they took one more giant deep breath. And then out came the sunshine. The dark storm clouds disappeared and out popped the sun. And Oliver felt wonderful and Supersaurus felt wonderful. And they jumped around and they cheered. And they felt so happy that they were able to do some things to turn the darkness into light and turn their sadness and disappointment into feeling good and happy. How wonderful was that? They used all the things that they knew to help them feel better, and it brought the sunshine out. So we're going to end with some wonderful deep breaths to remind us that whenever we take a deep breath, we can feel really good inside. Our body feels good, our minds feel good, and our feelings feel good. So here we go. We're going to put our finger up to our nose, and we're going to take a deep breath in. And when we breathe out, we're going to say, I am happy. Then we're going to bring our finger near to our mouth. And we're going to breathe in. And when we breathe out, we're going to say, I am peaceful. And then we're going to bring our hands to our heart where our love lives. And we're going to take a big deep breath. And when we breathe out, we're going to say, I am made of love. And then we listen and we feel it and we know it to be true. And we spread our arms out wide and we give ourselves a giant hug and we say to ourselves, I love you, and our own names. So I say, I love you, Joanna. And Yoga Bear says, I love you, Yoga Bear. And Oliver, Super-Oli says, I love you, Oliver. And Supersaurus says, I love you, Supersaurus. And you guys say, I love you, and your own names. So, thank you so much for joining me at Yoga Storytime today. And I will be back very soon with another fabulous story for us to do together and have a fun time. And I wish everyone very well, and I miss you, and I'll see you very soon. Love you. Bye.